It's Sue from the Public Library. I'm excited to be with you today, and I brought Jan and Molly along with me, and we're going to share with you some of the great books we've been reading over the past few months, and hopefully we'll get you excited about trying to read these items too. You can always access them through infosoup.org or call us at the library and we'll put a book on hold for you, either for curbside pickup or you can come in and get it now. So we're excited. I'm going to start out. I'm going to tell you about this book. It's called The List of Things That Will Not Change. It is by Rebecca Stead. I almost said the wrong name. And it's about Bee, who is excited as all get out because she thinks she's finally going to get a sister. And Bee's mom and dad have been divorced, but one thing they were always telling her is that we will always, always love you. And in fact, she has a strategy to keep in a little green notebook all the things in her life that will never, never change. And when she feels a little unsure of life, she goes to that green notebook and she finds that list. I think that's a great strategy, even for kids now, to think, okay, the world seems to be changing, but there are some things that will never change, like the love that my parents have for me. Well, as the wedding day of her dad approaches, she's getting really, really excited because Dad is marrying his longtime boyfriend, Jesse, and Jesse is amazing. Bee and Jesse get along great, and Jesse has a daughter that's exactly the same age as Bee. And so Bee thinks for sure when Jesse's daughter comes, they will be best of friends. You'll have to read the book to see if that really happens. Rebecca Stead's The List of Things That Will Not Change.
Hi. Things are changing, and they're a lot different than what they were a year ago. School's different. Some of our families are going through lots of changes. Our friendships are changing. Even without what's going on right now, there are changes and challenges in our life. And I remember reading a book a couple of years ago that was based on athletes' experiences and all the challenges they overcame and how they overcame them. And I thought that'd be a good book to kind of reread, and I did. It's called The Playbook. It's written by Kwame Alexander. And he takes these athletes' stories and he just puts them in little very short snippets, very, very short snippets. There's no long stories, all short stories. And the athletes come from all different fields like basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey, track, tennis. And he shows how they have faced challenges throughout their lives and overcome them. There's one story about a very famous basketball player who was told he couldn't dunk when he played college basketball. In fact, they made a rule that was named after him saying no dunking in college basketball. Can you imagine? Well, did that stop him? No. He honed his other skills and succeeded in becoming one of the best basketball players of his time. There's also a story and inspiration from Stephen Curry. Let's see, some more. I've got a note here. Mia Hamm, Venus and Serena Williams. Lots of people you'll recognize. But the one thing that was very striking is the title is The Playbook, 52 Rules to Aim, Shoot, and Score in This Game Called Life. In other words, you can take these suggestions and these stories and help get some encouragement and strength from what they went through to get through what you're going through. In fact, Kwame's story about wanting to be cool when he was younger, he wanted to be cool. And he looked at his dad and all around and they said, athletes are always cool. They don't have any trouble getting friends. Gee, I'm going to become an athlete. Dad was a successful basketball player. I can become a basketball player. I'm tall. Didn't work that way. Tried football. Didn't work that way. Read, find out some inspiration, find out how you can persevere through this, and read what happened to Kwame and how he succeeded.
Hi, it's Molly, and I'm here to share with you today El Deafo, a book by C.C. Bell, which is based off of her own childhood. Cece was 4 when she got a disease called meningitis, and when she recovered, she discovered after a few days of confusion that she had lost her hearing. The whole book is written as a graphic novel, so it's got great illustrations to go along with the story. And so she's 4 years old when she loses her hearing, and her first year of school, she goes to a school for other children that are hard of hearing. And there they teach her some skills about reading lips and how to figure things out, because she does get hearing aids, but they aren't perfect. It's kind of sounds like she's underwater when people are talking. Things are just a little bit garbled and not quite clear even with her hearing aid. So she learned these skills to try and help her live in the hearing world and get through. Well, her second year of school, she goes to normal school with all the hearing kids. And so there she discovers that things are a little more difficult for her. Thankfully, her teacher wears a microphone that goes directly to her hearing aids, and it makes things a little bit more clear on hearing the teacher. So Cece's going through the school year and trying to make friendships, but it's a little hard because it's hard to hear clearly, and she just struggles with the friendships, but she discovers that the microphone on the teacher gives her a little bit of a superpower, because that teacher leaves the room and all of a sudden she's hearing all these things that nobody else knows are going on. So she decides that she is El Defo, and she has some good adventures, and you get to see if that kind of helps her learn to navigate her world.
Hey, it's Sue again. I have to say that we have purchased some amazing picture books that are for a higher level reading. This book actually is by Kwame Alexander, the person that Jan just was talking about. But Kwame wrote this poem for his daughter, and it took him several years to get the poem just right. He wanted to write a poem that would give her a sense of history from what her ancestors went through, and how grateful she should be, and how much hope she should have for the future ahead. This book, and his poem is great, really comes alive with the illustrations of Kadir Nelson, because Kadir's illustrations really bring to a whole new understanding the plight of the African American. I will say that, we have always had rough times in our history. Our fathers, our grandfathers, our ancestors have all gone through tough times, and we have to remember that it's learning from those tough times that help us find hope ahead. There is a couple pictures in this book that I want you to tell me about, because when I got to one page, I thought, I think the publisher made a mistake. You'll have to see what you think. This book won the 2020 Caldecott medal because it is so beautifully illustrated, but definitely gives us hope for a future ahead, because we need to shine the path for us, but also for our descendants that come after us. Undefeated by Kwame Alexander and Kadir Nelson.
Jacqueline Woodson's new book, Before the Ever After, is told in 2 parts, the before and the ever after. And it's told through the eyes of a young man who is the son of a very big, very successful football player. This man is revered. He's known throughout his career as being the best football player there is. He is sweet, he's gentle. In his community, he is giving. He loves having ZJ, who's his son, ZJ's friends come over and horse around. He's just a wonderful dad. And ZJ has these wonderful memories of his dad. And another thing that his dad never pressured ZJ to get an interest in football, but ZJ loved to watch football just to watch his dad, because he was so perfect in what he did. And then there's the after story. And the after is when ZJ's dad was told he must quit football because it's starting to affect his health and his mental well-being. And ZJ notices these changes in his dad, and they become more and more prevalent. And the one thing that he notices is that his family has become even tighter. His mom is learning about ways to help his dad. The families of the football players are bonding with them and trying to help them. But ZJ has had all these friends around all the time. You know, he's the son of this big, great football player. Are these friends going to be with him? Are these friends going to cover his back? You have to read to find out. But one thing I want to share with you, and there's funny parts. I just don't want you to think it's all sad. It's done in verse. It would be a great read aloud. You can take any chapter and just talk about it forever. But this is one where ZJ is trying to recall how he first remembered his dad forgetting his name. And his dad always called him Little Man. Me and you were sitting at the dining room table doing a puzzle. Daddy, I said, your hand keeps shaking. And you looked up at me slowly. It was like your eyes lifted up first, and then the rest of your head. I don't really know how to explain what I saw. The way everything seemed to slow-mo down to nothing except your eyes looking at every part of my face, like I just appeared in front of you. What's your name again, boy? Daddy, I say, you play too much. I asked you, what's your name? And then your eyes weren't your eyes anymore. And I got up and ran through the house yelling for Mama. But when I got to the top of the stairs, I heard you say, Little Man. It wasn't like you were whispering it, but it sounded like a whisper. Little Man, you said again, like you were just figuring out who I was. Little Man, your son. And I came back down the stairs because you sounded so sure this time. It's a book, it's a great book, Before the Ever After.
Next book I was going to talk about is Front Desk by Kelly Yang. This story is about Mia and her family who immigrated to the United States a few years ago, and they've kind of struggled to make it in this world, in the United States, financially and to have a good home. Well, they think they found their break when they're hired to run a hotel. So the whole family moves into the hotel. Mom and Dad are going to manage, and Mia's determined to help out. Well, they find out very quickly that the owner of the hotel is not such a nice guy. So Mia does a lot of the running the desk while her parents are cleaning rooms, and she also is going to school where she discovers that one of her classmates is the owner's son, and he doesn't seem like such a nice kid either. Well, at school, Mia is actually enjoying herself quite a bit and really wants to be a great writer. But she struggles with self-doubt because she worries, since she's an English language learner, that maybe her writing isn't as good as she thinks it is. Maybe she's missing little things here, and her mom kind of plants this little seed of doubt because Mom's kind of self-conscious about the way she talks. So Mia's not sure she's a great writer. Well, her parents start to have a few friends that are immigrants that stop by and telling their sad stories where they're having some trouble in life, and the parents kind of go, well, no one's staying in room 5. You can stay in room 5 for a few days, or, and throughout the book are, letting a few of their friends stay, but they realize that if the owner ever catches wind of this, they will be out of jobs, out of a home, anything, so they have to be real sneaky about it. So all of her adventures and trying to help people, and then she decides to enter a writing contest because she thinks maybe by entering that contest she might find a way to help her family out. So read the book, learn about Mia's adventures. She's a great kid and a huge heart, and it's a great story.
So you may have noticed that there was a theme for all of our books this time. We're trying to provide you with great literature from a different perspective. And this is because we are hosting a 3-month reading challenge starting next week, October 1st. And you can join online, and you can help us by reading a book that is from a different perspective than what you're living in. So maybe from a different cultural perspective, maybe from the voice of someone who is an immigrant, maybe someone from a Native American background. There are 10 categories, and you can earn badges by reading a book from one of those categories and telling someone about what you learned about that culture. It's called Read, Learn, Grow, and you can find information on our website, which is wapakalibrary.org. Thanks for listening, and let us know if we can help you order any of these books via InfoSoup